Attention Americans! February is right around the corner, and it's bringing more than icy winds and freezing temperatures. We're talking about potential chaos that could disrupt your life in ways you're not prepared for. Every expert out there is sounding the alarm. This season is shaping up to be like no other, and if you're ignoring these warnings, you're putting your family at risk. It's time to stop procrastinating. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security and FEMA are clear on this. If you don't have a fully stocked supply of emergency food, you're setting yourself up for disaster. We're not talking about waiting until the shelves are empty. By then it's already too late. You need to start now. Today, I'm breaking down the 15 must-have grocery products you need to stockpile before February hits. From shelf-stable classics like canned bacon, yes, it lasts up to 10 years, to other critical supplies you probably haven't even thought of. We're covering all the essentials to keep your family safe and secure when everything goes sideways. Don't gamble with your future. Hit that like button, subscribe, and smash the bell icon, because you can't afford to miss these updates that could save your life. It's time to get serious. Are you ready? Let's get into it. 1. Canned meat, the protein powerhouse. All right, listen up. If you're serious about prepping for what's coming, canned meat is non-negotiable. I'm not talking about just Spam here, folks, though that's a classic. I'm talking chicken, beef, tuna, salmon, real, solid survival fuel to keep you going when things get rough. Why is canned meat so important? Simple. It's packed with protein, your body's go-to for muscle, strength, energy, and fighting off sickness. Your first step, when everything else fails, you'll still have a reliable source of nutrition that lasts. That's the name of the game. Here's the deal. These cans aren't just convenient. They're designed to outlast whatever chaos is brewing. Stored in a cool, dry place, they'll stay good for 5 years, sometimes even more. Think about that. 5 years of peace of mind sitting on your shelf, ready to go when the lights go out or supplies run dry. But don't just buy one type and call it a day. Variety is everything. Stock up on at least 60 cans per person for a 3-month emergency supply. That's 2 cans a week per person, more if you've got a strong appetite to keep up with. Why variety? Because eating the same thing day in, day out kills morale fast. Canned chicken? Perfect for soups, salads, or casseroles. Just pop, drain, and toss it in. Canned beef? Add it to stews, homemade tacos, or throw on a little seasoning for a quick protein fix. And don't forget canned fish. Tuna and salmon are absolute superstars for sandwiches, salads, or as a main dish. So bonus, they're loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, which are great for your heart and brain. Now here's a heads up. Canned meats are incredible for protein. 1 5-ounce can of chicken clocks in at 21 grams, and a can of tuna, over 30 grams. But watch the sodium. A lot of these cans are salt-heavy, so if you're watching your sodium intake, make sure to grab the low-sodium versions. Storing them? Easy. Toss them in your pantry, your basement, wherever it's cool, dry, and out of the way. When you put it in the fridge, for example, don't dial down the calories, squeeze. Savor it. Rotate your stock. That means you eat the oldest cans first and replace them before your stash gets outdated. Keeping it fresh is the only way to ensure it stays edible when you actually need it. FEMA and DHS both recommend keeping plenty of non-perishable proteins, and canned meat is top tier. Why? Because when things go south, you want something that's ready to eat. No cooking, no fridge required. Pop the can, and you're eating in seconds. No fuss, no prepping, just pure, life-saving protein at your fingertips. Criticism sugary goop to drizzle on toast. It's a survival must-have. Plain and simple. If you're building an emergency stockpile and don't include honey, you're making a big mistake. Why? Honey lasts forever. That's not a mistake. Honey isn't just some sugary goop to drizzle on toast. It's a survival must-have. Plain and simple. If you're building an emergency stockpile and not include honey, you're making a big mistake. Why? Honey isn't forever. Honey isn't for people. The secret to honey's legendary shelf life lies in its natural antibacterial properties and low moisture content, which slams the door shut on bacteria and mold. Here's the takeaway. Just store it right. Keep your honey in a tightly sealed container away from heat and sunlight. Glass jars are your best bet, but plastic will do in a pinch. Crystallized honey? Not a problem. That just means it's alive and kicking. Stick it in warm water, give it a stir, and you're back in business. Now, about quantity, don't skimp. For a 1-year emergency stash, you need at least 10 pounds of honey per person. That might sound crazy, but trust me, you'll use it. Honey is endlessly versatile. Add it to coffee, tea, baked goods, or use it as a natural energy boost in snacks like granola bars. You'll need calories in crunch time, and honey delivers extra calories, for tablespoon to be exact. That's pure, quick-burning energy, essential for survival situations. And don't forget the medicinal side of honey. Got a sore throat or a nagging cough? Mix honey with warm water and lemon for instant relief. Minor cuts or burns? Slap a little honey on them to take advantage of its natural antibacterial and anti-enslavement powers. With its eternal shelf life, nutrition, versatility, and medicinal uses, honey isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a need-to-have. The government, and yes, even FEMA, recommends stocking up on foods that are natural and long-lasting. Honey fits the bill perfectly. Ignore this one at your peril. 3. Dried beans. Stop sleeping on dried beans. These little nutrition-packed powerhouses are one of the smartest investments you can make for your emergency stockpile. Why? Because dried beans are practically indestructible when stored right. We're talking a shelf life of up to 30 years. Yes, 30 decades of having a protein and fiber-packed food source sitting ready and waiting for when times get tough. Here's the deal. You need to store them correctly. Tossing them into a bag in your pantry isn't going to cut it. For maximum shelf life, use airtight containers or Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers and stick them in a cool, dry place. Done right, your beans will outlive some of your other supplies. But don't play it safe with just one type of beans. Stockpile a variety: black beans, pinto beans, navy beans, kidney beans. Each has different flavors, textures, and nutrients to mix up your meals and keep things interesting. Aim for at least 100 pounds of dried beans per person for a year's supply. Sounds like a lot? Not really when you realize they're one of the most cost-efficiency and cost-effective foods you can get your hands on. Pick your style and leather today at a supply house near you or online now at Rothschild.com. Protein galore, fiber to keep your gut happy, and a long list of key vitamins and minerals. Just 1 cup of cooked black beans gives you 15 grams of protein and fiber, plus essentials like iron and magnesium. That's why they're a solid meat alternative when fresh meat is off the table. Yes, cooking dried beans takes a bit of effort, but stop complaining. All you need to do is soak them overnight to reduce cook time, then boil them on the stove, toss them in a slow cooker, or fire up a pressure cooker. Once ready, the possibilities are endless. Add them to soups, stews, and salads. Pair them with rice for full meals. Grind them into flour for baking, or make dips for extra flavor. Heck, you can even sprout the beans for a crunchy addition to meals. Here's the bottom line. FEMA and the Department of Homeland Security both stress the importance of non-perishable, protein-rich foods for emergencies. Dried beans fit that bill to perfection. They last, they sustain, and they've got endless uses. Don't wait. Stock up now and secure your protein backup for when you'll need it the most. 4. Al pasta. Pasta is a no-brainer when it comes to stocking up for winter. It's cheap, lasts forever if stored properly, and can be transformed into a warm, filling meal in a matter of minutes. If you're serious about preparing for the cold months and possible emergencies in February, pasta needs to be on your list. Why? Because it's one of the most reliable and versatile long-term storage foods out there. Basta no pasta plus. It doesn't take up much space, and when stored in a cool, dry place, it can last up to 2 years. Yes, 2 years of having a dependable, ready-to-go meal base. The key to storing pasta? Airtight containers. Don't just leave it sitting in its flimsy store packaging unless you want bugs to make a feast out of it. Get some quality, airtight containers and make sure it's nowhere near moisture. Pro tip: buy around 50 pounds per person for a year's supply. Sounds like a lot, but trust me, when the pantry starts running low, you'll thank yourself later. There's no shortage of options when it comes to the type of pasta you can stockpile. Spaghetti for classic dishes, penne for casseroles, macaroni for soups. It's not just about survival. It's about keeping things interesting so you don't get food fatigue. Pasta is also a carb powerhouse. A single cup of cooked pasta gives you around 200 calories, 40 grams of carbs, and 7 grams of protein. Exactly what you need to power through cold, dark days when energy is low. That's why in the coming weeks we're pouring batch after batch of pasta into the freezer, and you will not believe it. Pair it with canned sauces, frozen vegetables, or even just olive oil and garlic, and you have a simple yet satisfying comfort meal. And don't overlook pasta's versatility. It's not just for your basic marinara. Toss it into soups, make a baked casserole, or whip up a cold pasta salad if you're tired of hot meals. FEMA and the Department of Homeland Security both recommend having non-perishable items in your pantry, and pasta is literally one of the easiest all-purpose staples to include in your emergency food supply. When it comes to prepping for February, make sure you're taking pasta seriously. And store it properly, rotate your stock so nothing goes stale, and keep your pantry prepped. Pasta doesn't just help you survive, it keeps your meals enjoyable even during the hardest months. 5. You need oatmeal in your emergency stash. Oatmeal should be a non-negotiable item in your emergency food stockpile. Why? Because it's cheap, lasts forever when stored right, and is loaded with nutrients your body will thank you for in tough times. It's not just break food survival food at its finest. Properly stored oatmeal can last up to 2 years, but honestly, if you use Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers and airtight containers, it can last even longer. Ha! Moisture and pests are your enemies here, so keep it in a cool, dry spot, and you'll be good to go. Pro tip, aim for around 50 pounds of oatmeal per person for a year's supply. Sounds like a ton, right? Trust me, it goes faster than you think when oatmeal turns into part of your daily diet. Why oatmeal? First off, it's packed with the nutrition you'll need to survive and stay healthy. A single cup of cooked oatmeal gives you about 150 calories, 6 grams of protein and 4 grams of fiber. Everything you need to stay energized. Plus, it's a great source of iron, magnesium, and B vitamins which will keep you from feeling weak or sluggish. When the grid goes down, you don't want low energy to be the thing holding you back. The best part? Oatmeal is endlessly versatile. Obviously, you can eat it as a hot breakfast cereal. But don't stop there. Use it to make homemade bread, cookies, or muffins if you've got a baking setup. It's even a great base for DIY granola. And then there's overnight oats. Combine some oats with water or milk, toss in a little cinnamon, some sugar or fruit, and boom, you've got a no-cook, no-fuss meal waiting for you in the morning. 6. Instant potatoes. Instant potatoes are a non-negotiable staple for your emergency food stockpile. Why? They check all the boxes. They're dirt cheap, last for years, and can be used in practically any meal. On top of that, they deliver a solid dose of carbohydrates, your body's main energy source, so you won't be running on fumes when times get tough. Properly stored, instant potatoes can have a mind-blowing shelf life of up to 10 years. That alone makes them worth adding to your stash. But don't just toss them into your pantry and call it a day. Storage is key. Keep them in a cool, dry place, and for maximum longevity, use airtight containers or Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. This isn't optional. Moisture and pests will ruin your supply faster than you think. Pro tip? Do the math and aim for around 50 pounds per person for a full year. That might sound like a mountain of potatoes, but trust me, it's worth it. Instant potatoes are incredibly versatile, so they'll get eaten, no doubt about it. Nutritionally, they might not win awards, but they're no slouch either. A single cup of instant potatoes gives you roughly 110 calories, 26 grams of carbs, and a little protein and fiber. On their own, they're not a superfood, but combine them with canned vegetables, meats, or whatever else you've got, and you've got a hearty, balanced meal. Use them to whip up creamy mashed potatoes as a side, thicken your soups and stews, or kick things up a notch with potato pancakes. The possibilities are endless. Instant potatoes are a food workhorse, easy to prepare, filling, and adaptable. Do yourself a favor. Don't skip this item when you're building your emergency stash. You'll thank yourself when the shelves are empty and you've still got comforting, satisfying meals on the table. Stock up now. No excuses. 7. Stockpile lentils. When you're building out your emergency food supply, lentils should be your go-to item. Why? Because they're one of the cheapest, most versatile, and nutrient-packed foods you can find. If you're skipping lentils in your stockpile, you're making a huge mistake. These tiny legumes last for years if stored correctly, are easy to cook, and can be thrown into just about any meal you can think of. PF, they're the ultimate survival food, and here's why. First off, lentils have an impressive shelf life, up to 2 years when stored properly. Forget about flimsy bags from the grocery store. You need to transfer them to airtight containers, or better yet, Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. Keep them in a cool, dry place, and you'll be set for the long haul. Want a concrete number for your stockpile? Aim for 50 pounds per person to last you the year. Yes, that's a lot of lentils, but remember, these things will keep you alive when you don't have access to fresh food. Nutritionally, lentils are a powerhouse. 1 cup of cooked lentils gives you 230 calories, a whopping 18 grams of protein, and 16 grams of fiber. These macronutrients will help you stay full, energized, and healthy even in the most trying times. Plus, they're loaded with iron, magnesium, and essential B vitamins. Do you want to survive on empty calories during an emergency? I don't think so. Lentils will actually fuel your body with what it needs to function. And here's the kicker. They're ridiculously easy to cook. Throw them into soups, stews, salads, side dishes, or even make them into veggie burgers or protein-rich loaves. Being stuck in survival mode doesn't mean you have to eat like a caveman. If you're tired of rice or canned beans, lentils can break the monotony and keep you sane. Lentils check all the boxes. They last forever, they're loaded with nutrition, and they're versatile enough to save you from food fatigue. Honestly, not having lentils in your emergency stockpile is a massive oversight. If you're serious about prepping, grab lentils now and thank me later when you're eating well while others are stuck with bland, nutrient-deficient meals. 8. Powdered milk. If you're not already stocking powdered milk, you're making a huge mistake. This is a winter survival essential, not just some optional pantry filler. When fresh milk is impossible to come by, think snowstorms, power outages, or plain old supply chain issues, powdered milk steps in. It's cheap, lasts practically forever, and works in everything. Whether you're whipping up hot cocoa, baking some holiday treats, or making a comforting soup, powdered milk gets the job done like a pro, minus the worry of it spoiling in a few days. Here's the deal. Powdered milk can have a shelf life of, wait for it, up to 20 years. Yes, 2 whole decades of not worrying about spoiled milk. But only if you store it right. Airtight containers or mylar bags in a cool and dry spot are non-negotiable. Sunlight and moisture are your enemies here. Trust me, you don't want clumpy, gross powdered milk when you're in the middle of winter chaos. 2. For emergencies, FEMA and DHS recommend having enough supplies for 2 weeks, but if you're serious about preparedness, aim for months. Think big. 30 pounds of powdered milk can last a family of 4 for 3 months if you use it wisely. And let's talk versatility. Just add water and you've got milk for drinking, cooking, blending into batter, and even creamy sauces. Want to make rich hot chocolate? Done. Need milk for cereal? Easy. Craving a creamy soup? Powdered milk has your back. Plus, it packs the same punch nutritionally as fresh milk. Calcium, protein, vitamin D, they're all there. A single cup of reconstituted powdered milk offers about 80 calories, 8 grams of protein, and 300 calories of calcium. And remember, you can save 15.3%. Your bones and muscles will thank you while you're shivering through those freezing winter nights. Pro tip, consider the type of powdered milk you're buying. Whole milk powder provides better flavor and extra calories. Great for winter energy needs. Watching calories? Non-fat powdered milk is your friend. Prefer organic? There's that too. Just don't forget to rotate your stock every few months, so you're not caught off guard when things get real. And for the love of smooth milk, mix it properly. Blender, shaker, whatever works. No one wants clumps in their drink. 9. Canned bacon. A survivalist's goldmine. If you're serious about prepping, canned bacon is non-negotiable. Yes, bacon in a can. It might sound strange, but this little miracle isn't just food, it's survival gold. Let me explain. First off, canned bacon isn't just delicious, it's packed with protein and fat, 2 critical nutrients you need to stay energized in any grid-down situation. Fat keeps you full and provides much-needed calories when every meal counts. Hell, with canned bacon, you might even have time to reach into your snack bag for a protein shake or other breakfast squeeze. Your extra calories will come from fruit and the flavors they provide. Health. Protein helps keep your body running. This isn't a nice to have, this is a must have. And here's the kicker. Canned bacon has an insane shelf life. We're talking 10 years or more when stored properly. That's a whole decade of smoky, savory, crispy goodness right there in your pantry. But wait, there's more. Canned bacon's versatility makes it a prepper's dream. Breakfast? Sure, slap that bacon next to some powderized eggs. Lunch, dinner, cut it up, throw it into soups, stews, casseroles, whatever you can whip up out of your emergency stockpile. Feeling fancy? Wrap some around an otherwise boring snack and elevate it to gourmet survival food. Bacon makes everything better, and that's not an opinion, that's fact. Tip. Now here's the blunt truth. If you actually plan on living off your stockpile for any significant duration, you need to stop thinking small with your prepping. A handful of cans isn't going to cut it. For a 3-month stash, you're going to need at least 30 cans if you want to use it regularly. That's the baseline. And don't just shove it anywhere. Store it in a cool, dry place, pantry, basement, whatever you've got. Not yet, Sam. Keep it away from sunlight and extreme temperatures, or you're wasting your investment. Here's why this matters. Canned bacon is actually FEMA approved. Yep, even those government guys recommend stocking non-perishables with long shelf lives, and this one checks all the boxes. Portability? Yes. Nutrition? Obviously. Flavor? Absolutely. When everything else tastes like cardboard, bacon might just save your sanity. The bottom line? Stop hesitating and stock up. Canned bacon isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline. Whether you're in the middle of a crisis or simply preparing for one, it's the smartest move you'll make. Trust me, when February hits, or any disaster hits, you're going to be glad you followed this advice. 10. Peanut butter. Listen up. Peanut butter is an absolute must-have in any serious stockpile. This isn't just a pantry filler, it's a survival essential. Why? Because peanut butter is the golden trifecta of food storage. It's comfort food, it's versatile, and it lasts a ridiculously long time. You can literally toss a few jars into your stockpile and forget about them for years if stored properly. No joke, this stuff can last up to 2 years when kept in a cool, dry place, as long as the lid is sealed tight. Now, here's the insider tip. If you're prepping for the long haul, powdered peanut butter is a game changer. Yeah, I said it. Powdered peanut butter. It stores even longer than the regular stuff and is easy to rehydrate when you need it. Plus, whether it's creamy or powdered, peanut butter is loaded with what counts when push comes to shove: calories, protein, and healthy fats to keep you energized during emergencies. How much should you stock? Aim for at least 10 jars per person for a 3-month supply. Don't sit there and act like that's too much. Trust me, you'll thank your past self when food options run short. Peanut butter is insanely versatile. It's not just for sandwiches. Spread it on crackers, apples, or add it to oatmeal for an instant hit of energy. And don't forget the classic PB&J sandwich, the comfort food of champions when the chips are down. From a nutritional standpoint, peanut butter pulls no punches. Just 2 tablespoons hit you with about 190 calories, 7 grams of protein, and loads of healthy monounsaturated fats for heart health. Throw in some vitamin E, magnesium, potassium, and vitamin B6, and you've got yourself a nutrient-packed powerhouse in one jar. But wait, it's not just about eating it straight out of the jar with a spoon, though no judgment if you do, because same. Peanut butter is the star player in so many recipes it's crazy. Use it to whip up rich, savory sauces for Asian-inspired dishes, blend it into smoothies for an instant protein boost, or bake it into cookies, energy balls, or even pancakes. The possibilities are endless. The bottom line, without peanut butter, your stockpile is incomplete. Get it, stock it, and don't skimp on this one. You'll be glad you did. Number 11, canned vegetables. All right, here's the deal. Fresh vegetables are fantastic, but in an emergency, they're useless. You need something that lasts, and that's where canned vegetables come in. They're the survival MVP when SHTF. They're shelf-stable, nutrient-packed, and ridiculously versatile. If you don't already have shelves stuffed with these, you're not taking preparedness seriously. Canned vegetables will sit there ready to go for years. That's right, depending on the type, they'll last anywhere from 1 to 5 years. No fridge needed. Just store them in a cool, dry spot. Got a dark basement? Perfect. Oh, and keep them away from sunlight unless you enjoy eating food that tastes like cardboard. For a proper emergency stockpile, aim for at least 100 cans per person if you want a 3-month reserve. Sure, that sounds like a lot, but emergencies aren't about convenience, they're about survival. Variety is crucial here because eating the same thing repeatedly will drive you insane. Stock up on the heavy hitters like green beans, peas, corn, carrots, and mixed vegetables. Don't forget the nutrient powerhouses like spinach, iron and vitamin A, and carrots, packed with beta-carotene and vitamin K. You'll thank yourself when your body isn't falling apart from malnutrition. What's great about canned vegetables is they work in almost anything: stews, casseroles, soups, or as an easy side dish when you're too tired to think. Toss them in pasta or rice for a quick nutritional kick. Concerned about sodium? Drain and rinse them. Problem solved. And no, canned vegetables aren't less healthy than fresh ones. While some vitamins take a hit during the canning process, the majority of nutrients stick around. A cup of canned green beans comes with about 40 calories, 2 grams of protein, 4 grams of fiber, and a solid dose of vitamin A and C. Exactly what you'll need to stay functioning under stress. Last piece of advice. Rotate your stockpile. Old cans go first, new cans replace them. Keep it fresh, keep it constant. Both FEMA and the Department of Homeland Security agree. Canned vegetables are non-negotiable for emergency prep. You've been warned. Get stocked while you still can. Number 12. Rice is non-negotiable for your emergency stockpile. Listen up, if you're serious about being prepared, rice is absolutely mandatory in your emergency food supply. It's cheap, it lasts for decades, and it's one of the most versatile foods out there. Rice is a powerhouse source of carbohydrates, which means it's going to keep your energy levels up when times get tough. That's right, decades. The trick? Store it in a cool, dry place using airtight containers or mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. No moisture, no pests. It's as simple as that. Here's a pro tip for you. Shoot for at least 100 pounds of rice per person for a 1-year supply. It sounds like a lot, but trust me, you'll burn through it faster than you think. Rice is a survival staple and there are countless ways to use it, so you won't get bored. Now, let's talk variety. White rice is king for long-term storage. Don't argue, it's just the reality. It's neutral, lasts the longest, and pairs well with anything. But here's the catch. White rice doesn't pack the same nutritional punch as brown rice. Brown rice, while healthier with more vitamins, minerals, and fiber, has a much shorter shelf life, 6 months to a year tops. That said, I still recommend keeping both for diversity. Throw in some jasmine or basmati rice too if you want to mix up flavors, because survival shouldn't mean tasteless. Nutritionally, rice gives you what you need when calories and sustenance matter most. 1 cup of cooked white rice provides 200 calories, 4 grams of protein, and 45 grams of carbs, enough to keep you fueled. Brown rice edges it out slightly with more protein, fiber, and vitamins, making it a solid choice, even short-term. Cooking rice? It's stupidly simple. All you need is water and heat. Get creative? Use a stove, rice cooker, or even a fire pit. Rice works as the foundation for countless hearty meals. Think beans and rice, soups, stews, casseroles, or just toss it with some canned meat or veggies. It's filling, satisfying, and honestly essential. Do yourself a favor and stock up while you can. Waiting too long is not an option. Making 13. Canned soup. When it comes to emergency stockpiling, canned soup is an absolute no-brainer. It's one of the most practical, cost-effective, and versatile items you can store. Need a quick meal that doesn't require much effort? Canned soup has your back. With an unbeatable shelf life of 2 to 5 years when stored properly, this stuff is built to last. Keep it in a cool, dry spot, and you're good. If you're serious about prepping for the worst, aim to have at least 50 cans per person for a 3-month supply. Yes, 50. That's not an exaggeration. Canned soup is indispensable, especially when conditions get tough. Why canned soup? First off, it's insanely versatile. You can use it on its own, sure, but if you think it's just about heating and eating, think bigger. Chicken noodle soup makes an excellent base for comfort food meals. Tomato soup, not only great for sipping, but also perfect for enhancing casseroles or stews. And then there's vegetable soup. Throw it into a chowder or use it to bulk up your favorite winter dish. Having various flavors on hand ensures you won't get stuck eating the same boring meals day after day. Preppers, think ahead. Stock up on a mix of flavors to keep things interesting. Nutritionally, canned soup might not win you over with fancy vitamin labels, but it packs enough protein, fiber, and carbs to keep you going. On average, a cup has around 150 calories, 7 grams of protein, and 20 grams of carbs. It's survival food. It's designed to get the job done. Want to supercharge it? Toss in extra veggies, meats, or even beans to create a hearty meal. And don't forget the sides. Pair it with crackers, fresh bread if you've got some, or even sprinkle it with shredded cheese to level it up. Canned soup isn't just filler, it's fuel. It's easy to store, easy to use, and an absolute lifesaver when food options are limited. Stock up now while you can, because when February hits and the shelves are bare, you'll wish you'd started sooner. 14. Canned fruit. Canned fruit isn't just a convenient snack, it's a survival essential. When fresh fruit is nowhere to be found, canned fruit steps in to save the day. It's packed with nutrients like vitamins A and C, along with a long shelf life, making it a no-brainer for your stockpile. Keep it stored in a cool, dry area, away from sunlight, and you're looking at 1 to 2 years of reliability. That's right, your canned peaches, pineapples, and pears won't be going bad anytime soon. Now, let's talk quantity. For a 3-month stockpile, you're going to need at least 50 cans per person. Yes, 50. That might sound like a lot, but having a variety is crucial, not just for your health, but to avoid the worst thing about stockpiling food: food fatigue. Trust me, eating the same thing over and over gets old real fast, and variety helps guarantee you're covering all your nutritional bases. Peaches bring you vitamin A, while pineapples load you up with vitamin C and manganese. Your body needs these to stay healthy, especially when stress is high. What about concerns over nutrient loss? Sure, canning processes do result in some loss, but the majority of those critical nutrients remain intact. A cup of canned peaches still provides roughly 120 calories, a good chunk of vitamin A, and a boost of vitamin C. All things you need in a survival scenario. And don't overlook how versatile canned fruit can be. Eat it straight out of the can if you're in a hurry. Need breakfast? Throw it on yogurt or oatmeal. Have some downtime? Use it in smoothies, fruit salads, or even bake it into pies and cobblers. It's not just survival food, it's survival food that tastes good. Stock up now before it's too late. 15. Canned beans are your secret weapon. Canned beans are an absolute no-brainer when it comes to your emergency stockpile. They're cheap, packed with nutrients, and last for years. What more could you ask for? If you're serious about getting prepared, these little cans of goodness deserve a prime spot in your pantry. Stashing away canned beans might sound basic, but guess what? Basics are what will save your life. Properly stored, they can last up to 5 years. Just keep them in a cool, dry spot, don't get lazy and toss them somewhere damp, or you're asking for trouble. Either leave them in their original cans or transfer them to airtight containers, but protect them from any moisture or pests. Here's the thing. If you're building a real stockpile, you need to go big. Don't stop at a few cans. A year's supply means about 100 cans per person. Yes, that's a lot of beans, but here's why it's worth it. Canned beans are like little nutritional powerhouses, packed with around 220 calories, 15 grams of protein, 15 grams of fiber, plus essential nutrients like iron, magnesium, and folate. Want to stay strong and energized when things go south? Canned beans have your back. And they're insanely versatile, which is vital when you've got a limited pantry. You can use them in soups, stews, salads, or as a side dish. Smash them up into veggie burgers, throw together a quick bean dip, or whip up some homemade hummus if you're feeling creative. Bottom line, boring meals are not a concern with these in your supply. Even government agencies like FEMA and the Department of Homeland Security recommend stocking up on non-perishable, nutrient-rich foods. Canned beans fit this bill perfectly. They're affordable, shelf-stable, and beyond useful when every meal counts. Start stocking up now, don't overthink it. Beans might just be what gets you through the worst.